So I'm sure by now you've all heard that the next rep in Smash Brothers will be someone from ARMS. You know, that one fighting game almost everyone tried to forget about. Honestly, I like ARMS. Its gameplay is unique, the game modes are fun, the character designs are fantastic, and it's just so creative. My problems with the game, however, is just a lack of things to do besides Grand Prix and standalone modes. It can get really repetitive and is really frustrating online with people just spamming grabs. Oh my god, stop! I only played this during the game trial session, so I can say the game is good, just not good enough to warrant me spending £40 on it. And when the fighter was announced, understandably, people were annoyed and more often confused. This may be because ARMS has quite a bad reputation, and I guess most people expected this to be in the base game if they were doing ARMS. It's also the first time something like this has happened, with the franchise revealed before the rep. With characters like Joker and Terry, we had the character announcement but no gameplay, but this is entirely different. Now, as of recording this, Sakurai will announce the fighter on the 22nd of June, which is why I'm making this speculation video. And hey, if this video goes well, then I may just continue these weird videos for each fighter in the second pass. But now what you guys want, who I think is going to get in. Well, let's just go through each fighter and talk about their likeliness on getting in. Springman is seen as the face of the franchise and will probably be the safest bet. He's on a lot of the promotional material, he has an assist trophy, spirit and Mii costume in the game, so he is easily recognisable. But here's the thing, Springman is incredibly boring. He's the most standard protagonist, and if it was him, it probably wouldn't have been announced and not have all this mystery around it. If it was revealed as Springman, then it would be very anticlimactic. Also, I don't believe assist trophies and Mii costumes and such deconfirm characters, but don't get me wrong, if Springman gets in, then it completely changes the game. Anyone is up for play. We could get Shovel Knight, Rayman, and even Waluigi people. I think there's a pretty fine chance of him getting it. Ribbon Girl is probably the character I see being said having the greatest chance of getting in. She is also in a lot of the promotional stuff and would have much more of an interesting moveset than Springman. Yeah, people really only say this because of her vertical movement ability of 4 jumps, but she also would just be neater to see. This would be another safe bet. While I'm a plain Jane and think it would be cool to see Springman, Ribbon Girl would be cool too. I think Ribbon Girl is a very high chance of getting in, honestly. Injera is an odd character. While his smoke bomb ability would make for some excellent mix-ups, he's just not as widely recognised like the last 2 characters. He also seems quite boring, and somehow, to me at least, even more than Springman. However, I still can't say he wouldn't be a fun addition. I say Injera has a slight chance of getting in. Master Mummy would be neat. We are definitely lacking in hero-heavy characters, and his long-range attacks combined with incredible strength would be killer in the right hands. But the thing is, heavy characters just aren't that great, and especially with an ARMS character, versatility and movement seems like a good way to go, and Master Mummy just doesn't house any of those traits. Master Mummy, I think, has a low chance of getting into Smash. Min is interesting. She definitely doesn't seem like an integral character, and no more interesting than Springman or Ribbon Girl. I would be thinking that too if Min wasn't a fan favourite among the ARMS community, and didn't have such an interesting set of ARM choices. She seems like a really good choice, and quite nice blend between Springman and Ribbon Girl. I also think Min has a very high chance of getting in. Mechanica is also one I forget. She's not very interesting, she's more of a heavy character, and I never see anyone talk about her. Not too much to discuss here, I just don't think she'll get in the game. Quite a low chance. Twintail is also another character I've seen become a really popular choice. She has a really unique design with her hair being her. And being able to stop time seems like a cool mechanic. She definitely seems more creative than most of the other characters in ARMS, but might be weird as a complete representative of the franchise. I think it's likely. Heightened Bark would be cool. Having access to a set of 3 arms and technically being a duo character would make for an interesting moveset. Besides that, they are also quite uninteresting. They would most likely be a more stiffed up Springman with a less powerful 3rd arm that attacks every so often. But then again, they wouldn't be the worst choice. I think they have an okay chance of getting added. Helix is the last of the original fighters from the base game of ARMS, and he is most certainly the weirdest in how he plays. It's a big sentient being of goo, of course, he squashes and stretches like a marshmallow. Helix would be so stupid to implement, but that's why I'd love him in! On a more subjective note though, he isn't all too interesting as an effective fighter. I think there's an okay chance of his implementation. Now the rest of the characters. Cobra Kid, Misango, Lollipop, Springtron, Max Brass and Dr. Coral were all added later into ARMS' life. and therefore significantly decrease the chance of them being included. Max Brass and Dr. Coil are probably the only two from the list I'd root for, but it would be more likely that they'd want to represent someone who has been there from the start and was a part of the base game. This throws all these guys out of the window at an objective stance. I'd say all these characters have a low chance of being included. And that's all the characters. But wait, of course, I'm not done. Here's some alternate options. What if it's Springman and Ribbon Girl? They're both box characters and would be excellent representation. What if it's all 8 characters from the base game as alternate costumes? I once thought this too, but it seems way less likely as the characters were played so differently from one another. But that doesn't mean they can't alter abilities, but it would be so wasted. What if it's one of the DLC characters? Then tickle me damned and grab me from across the entire stage, because then I would have been what we call wrong. What if it's an ARMS 2 rep? That would be cool. Just throw all this speculation out of the way and yeah, do that. Of course, this is all theory craft, and I tried to look at it objectively. It could be anything at this point, and I'm going to try and stream my reaction to the announcement on my Twitch, so tune in if you can. I'll post my afterthoughts on my Twitter. Yeah, that seems about it. I'm extending the production time on my next video, as it's difficult to get stuff done right now, and yes, that pun was intended. God kill me.